Hi, I'm Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs, and welcome to Getting to Know Your Local Police. This is a regular segment that we use to try to help you become more familiar with the law enforcement officers in the Huntsville-Madison County community. Today, I want to introduce you to a third-generation police officer. It's very exciting to be able to meet him for the first time and to hear a little bit about his story. He's Officer Tim Evans, and he rides out of the South Precinct. And we want to welcome him to the broadcast today.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here. And man, I'm excited. We did a big interview off the air, actually. So now we're going to actually get a little bit on camera, because as we begin to talk, I learned so much about your life as a police officer. You are a third-generation police officer. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. My grandfather, he started with the Huntsville Police Department in the early 1950s, and he worked all the way through the early 60s. And my father worked for the Chrysler Corporation in Detroit, and I was born there. Moved to Huntsville 1 year later in 1969. My father got a job with the Huntsville Police Department in 1969. He worked as a Huntsville Police Sergeant and retired in 2001. And I was hired as the first third-generation police officer in January of 1991. It was actually a law that the city had on the books about nepotism. And in the late 80s, right around 1990, the city abolished the nepotism law. And that's when I decided this was the job career I wanted to take. And there it was. I was a third-generation police officer.
Well, how much of what you saw your grandfather and father do that had an impact on that decision?
Well, my grandfather, he was out of the job, and he passed away when I was an early age. My father, it was all that I really ever knew growing up. It was just my way of life. My father was big in working sporting events, and he got a chance to get to know everybody, and it gave me a lot of influence, and I saw the respect that he had and the respect he gave the community, and it just made me want to get in there and do that same type of job.
Yeah, that has to be awfully inspiring in a lot of ways to wear the uniform now that both your father and grandfather wore. But your story goes a little further than that.
It does.
Your wife is a police officer.
Yes, sir. My wife, she started in 1990, and she was a dispatcher for about 5 years. She went through the police academy in 1995 and got her a police officer job, and she is currently assigned as an investigator with the police department. I'm very proud of her.
Wow. And your story goes just a little bit further.
Just a little bit further. My son actually, he put in a lot of time and effort. He realized he wanted to be in public service, and he put in the time and effort, and he made it into this current fire academy that's in right now. So he's really excited about that. He's a firefighter, and my daughter, she works at Huntsville Women's and Children's Hospital. She's in the public service. We've decided to make our family around the city of Huntsville, and it's really worked out well for us.
Wow, it's nothing like public service either, and I know that you make a profound difference with the work that you do and touching so many people's lives. What do you get most out of the job that you do? What is it that really, and you get up in the morning, you think about, I got to go to work today. What drives you to do what you do?
Well, it's really fun to be able to make a difference in the community. You know, there's going to be times when I have to deal with people. They're not going to be really happy with me. But for the majority of the time that I deal with the community, I try to treat them as best as I know how. And if I do that, I feel like we really make a difference, and making a difference in the community and the area that I patrol is what really drives me to get up and go to work. I want to make the community that I work in as safe as I can. I want to give the community the best service that I can give them, and maybe through something that I do, you know, with their kids, it'll inspire their kids to want to grow up to be a police officer and get in community service. And it really is, it really makes me feel good at the end of the day to know that I've done the best job I could to try to make the community as best as I can.
Yeah, well, obviously your passion oozes out as I hear you talk about your joy about the work that you do. Every day, I'm sure for a law enforcement officer, is a different kind of day with so much uncertainty as well, because like you said, you're the guys that go towards the problem while everyone is running away from it.
And that's really true. you know, a lot of people ask me, well, what is your job like? And the only thing that I can really equate it to, and this will sound funny, is if you go fishing. You may go fishing today, in 6 hours you may not catch any fish, and then you may catch 100 in 30 minutes. It's really, my job is about 6.5 hours of just slow calls, the routine calls, and then there may be that 30 minutes where I'm really getting paid for what I've been trained to do. And those 30 minutes is what makes me really want to come back and do the job. And it's a calling. You know, it's a hard job for some people to, you know, they'll say, I couldn't do that job, because there's bad parts to the job and there's good parts to the job. And the good parts and the fun that I have is really what makes me want to get up and come back and do it again. And the friendships that we have too. I mean, our department is so closely knit. It's like a family, and you develop friends that these are the people you want to go and hang out with. These are the people that you want to go on vacation with. I'm in some of them's weddings, things like that. It's just a bond that we have that's really fun, and you look out after each other like a family, and it makes it really, really fun to get up and come to work. You look forward to it, and I really do enjoy it.
What is it? What's one thing that you would tell the general public about your work as an officer that they may not really know or understand, but you would really want them to know and understand?
You know, when I have people that come out and ride with me, we have a Citizens Observer program, and I'll have people ride with me. And a lot of the public in general, when I deal with them, they may not quite understand the reasons why I talk the way that I talk, or stand the way that I stand, or ask them to do things that I need them to do. It's not that I'm trying to be offensive towards them. My job ultimately at the end of the day is to go home to my family, and we are taught things that we have to do in order to give ourselves the most safety that we can have. And I try to explain to the public a lot of times, the reason that I want you to do the things that I do is for my safety and for your safety, because one wrong thing could jeopardize each of our safety. And I don't want, my job is not to get out here and arrest everybody that I deal with, or write everybody a ticket. As in fact, I try not to do that if I can. I don't know that that's really what corrects the problem. There's times when that's what has to happen. But a lot of the things that I would like for the public to know is, when I do certain things, it's not because I'm trying to come across as being bold or brash. It's things that I'm trying to do to protect you as well as me. And your cooperation makes it a whole lot easier on both of us.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that too, because it's one of the things I've come to understand. You know, I'm a regular citizen out there doing what I do, but, you know, I have been pulled over by a police officer, but I've been mindful about being pulled over and things that I need to do, because I'm not in their shoes, and I don't know what they're thinking or seeing or what they've been exposed to. And
Right.
so, and I know it's a very dangerous job. And so there are things that we need to be thinking about as a public.
And a traffic stop, the way that I do my job, if I stop a car on a traffic stop, I am 110% sure the reason that I'm stopping you, you've committed that offense. Because that's the most dangerous thing that I can do as a law enforcement officer. When I walk up to a car, I'm in a strictly reactive phase. I don't know who you are. You know who you are, if you're wanted, if you're not wanted, what your intentions may be, and I have to strictly react. So when I walk up to the car and I want to see you put your hands in a certain area and I stand a certain way, that's for my protection, because I don't know who you are or what your intentions may be. And that being said, I want to just the truth. When we deal with the public, just tell us the truth. A lot of times that's hard for people when they deal with me. The truth is something that's hard to come by, but if you just tell the truth and understand that our job is a complicated job, it's a very dangerous job, and the things that we do are strictly for our safety and for your safety, then things will go a whole lot better.
Officer Tim Evans with South Precinct, thank you for coming to share with us a little bit today.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
We hope that you've got to know a little bit more about your local police through the conversation that I just had with Officer Evans, and we hope that you'll join us again for another edition of Getting to Know Your Local Police. I'm Kenny Anderson. Have a good day.